Yesterday. Meanwhile, at the Krusty Krab.
Eventually.
Moments later. More moments later.
A few moments later.
10 seconds later.
12 seconds later.
1 minute later.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
2 very boring minutes later. 5 minutes later. A few minutes later. A little longer than a few minutes later. 11 minutes later. 15 minutes later.
20 minutes later.
Many minutes later. 1 hour later.
2 hours later.
3 hours later. 5 hours later. 6 minutes later.
6 hours later. 6.5 hours later.
7 hours later. 8 hours later. Approximately 10 hours later. 12 sleepless hours later.
Several hours later. Several song-filled hours later.
Many hours later. Many unbearable hours later. 24 hours later. The next day.
12 o'clock midnight. 3:28 a.m.
The next morning.
1 pair of pants later.
1 shift later. 1 extremely annoying shift later.
2 idiots later.
Montage. What follows is a brief construction montage. We hope you enjoyed this brief construction montage. 1 winner later. 1 long angry line later. 1 operation later.
A few inches later. Several bad puns later.
A lot of boring math later. 298 frozen patties later. Thousands of tears later. 3,000 whoop-whoos later.
5,000 celebrities later.
80,000 impressions later.
Would you please stop imitating me? It is starting to get very annoying. Opening night. The very next evening.
8:01 p.m.
Epilogue.
Tomorrow for sure.
Day 2. 2 days later. 48 hours later.
Day 3.
3 days later.
72 hours later. Day 4.
4 to 6 days later.
Several days later.
4 to 6 more days later. 1 week later.
The following Thursday.
2 weeks later.
16 paranoia-filled days later.
4 to 6 weeks later.
6 months later.
Several months later.
Many months later.
70 years later.
75 years later.
2,000 years later.
3,000 years later. 1 million zillion jillion dillion cotillion times later.
5 billion years later.
1 eternity later.
Later in the void. Much later. Much later. Much later.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.